They say a man who rules the underworld fears nothing, but he feared one thing, being empty, not of power, not of money, not even of enemies, empty of purpose, of legacy, of the one thing kings are supposed to leave behind. He was 32, untouchable, and sterile. Or so he thought. Until a message from the past ripped his world apart. No milk. 2 words that would change everything. He stared at his phone like it was a weapon. No milk. The number was unknown. The message made no sense. He almost deleted it. But something stopped him. Maybe it was the way his chest tightened. Maybe it was the ghost of a memory he'd tried to bury 3 years ago. A woman, a nurse. The only person who ever touched him without wanting something in return. Her name was Su Min, and he had destroyed her. Not with violence, not with threats, but with silence, with absence, with the kind of cruelty that comes from choosing family over love. His father had made it clear. She wasn't suitable, too poor, too kind, too soft for the world they lived in. So he walked away. No goodbye, no explanation. Just gone. He told himself it was mercy. Now, staring at those 2 words, he wondered if it was cowardice. He didn't respond. He drank whiskey instead. Sat in his penthouse overlooking the city. Let the silence swallow him. But the message stayed. Burned into his mind. No milk. What the hell did that mean? His second in command, Jay, found him hours later, still staring at nothing. You look like you've seen a ghost, Young. He didn't answer. Jay sat down across from him, poured himself a drink. Want to talk about it? No. Then why do you look like someone just declared war? Because maybe they had. He finally looked up. Find someone for me. Jay raised an eyebrow. Who? Su Min. Lee Su Min. Last known address was Incheon. She was a nurse. Jay didn't ask why. He never did. That's why he was trusted. How soon? Yesterday. Jay nodded and left. And for the first time in 7 years, since the accident that stole his future, the Korean crime lord felt something close to fear. The call came 2 days later. Found her. His hand tightened around the phone. Where? Small apartment. Seongdong district. She's still nursing. Night shifts mostly. Alone? A pause. That pause told him everything. No. His blood went cold. Who's with her? 2 kids, boys, around 2 years old, twins. The world stopped. Twins, 2 years old, 3 years since he'd last seen her. The math was impossible. And yet, send me the address. Hyung, are you sure? Now. He stood outside her building at midnight. It wasn't the kind of place a crime lord visited. Cracked walls, narrow hallways, the smell of old cooking oil and worn-out dreams. But she was here, and so were they. He didn't knock, not yet. Instead, he watched through the window. 3rd floor. Lights still on. She moved across the small kitchen like a shadow. Tired. So tired. Her hair was longer now, pulled back in a messy bun, dark circles under her eyes. She wore old scrubs, the kind that had been washed too many times. But God, she was still beautiful. Still the woman who used to touch his scars like they were holy. Then he saw them. 2 small faces, boys, identical, sleeping on a worn couch, his chest cracked open. They looked like him. Dark hair, strong brows. Even in sleep there was something familiar. Something impossible. She turned suddenly, as if sensing him. Their eyes met through the glass. For a moment neither moved. Then her face went pale. She stumbled back, hand over her mouth. He didn't wait. He went inside. The door wasn't locked. Stupid. Dangerous. Reckless. He wanted to yell at her for that alone. But when he stepped inside, all words died. She stood in the middle of the room, shaking. Not from fear, from rage. Get out! Her voice was low, lethal. He'd heard that tone before. From men twice her size. Right before they tried to kill him. I got your message. I didn't send you anything. No milk. Her face changed. Confusion, then horror. That wasn't for you. That was for my sister. Wrong number. Wrong number. A cosmic joke. Or fate. Who are they? he asked quietly. None of your business. Sumin, you don't get to say my name, not after what you did. I need to know. Why? So you can leave again? The words hit like bullets. She turned away, arms wrapped around herself. They're mine. That's all you need to know. He moved closer, slowly, like approaching something fragile. Are they mine? Silence, heavy, crushing. Then, barely a whisper, you were supposed to be sterile. And just like that, the world shattered. He demanded a DNA test. She refused. You don't get to waltz back into my life and make demands. If they're mine, they're not. Sumin, they're not yours, not in any way that matters. But her eyes betrayed her. So did theirs. He didn't leave. He sat outside her building, all night. His men watched from the shadows, confused, concerned. Jay finally approached at dawn. Hyung, this isn't, I'm staying. Your father can wait. Jay hesitated, then nodded, because even a crime lord's second-in-command knew some things were bigger than empires. She emerged at 7 a.m., kids in hand, both bundled in mismatched jackets. He stepped in front of her. She froze. One test, he said quietly. That's all I'm asking. And if I say no, then I'll respect that. A lie. They both knew it. She stared at him, those eyes that used to see the boy beneath the monster. You really think they're yours? I don't know, but I need to. Why? What difference does it make? Everything. Because if they were his, it meant he wasn't broken. It meant he had something worth protecting. It meant she had carried his sons alone while he built an empire on blood. She finally nodded. One test, then you leave. Deal. But they both knew he was lying. The results came back 3 days later. 99. 97% match. Both boys. His. He stared at the paper until the numbers blurred. Jay stood beside him, silent. I have sons. Yes. I abandoned them. You didn't know. I abandoned her. That was the real crime. He looked up. Find out everything. Doctor visits, bills, rent, everything she's been through. Already did. Jay handed him a folder. He opened it. Medical debt, eviction notices, night shifts, day shifts, no family support. She had done it all alone. Because he had walked away, he went back that night, knocked. She opened the door, saw his face, and knew. They're yours, she whispered. I know. So what now? You take them? No. She blinked, surprised. I want you. All of you. You can't just... I was wrong. I was a coward. And I will spend the rest of my life making this right. Your family will never allow it. Then they'll learn to. You don't understand what you're asking. He stepped closer, close enough to see the tears she was fighting. I'm not asking, I'm begging. And for the first time in 7 years, the king of the Korean underworld knelt. His father's office smelled like old cigars and older rage, the kind of rage that didn't need volume, didn't need theatrics, it just existed, heavy, suffocating. You kneel for no one. His father didn't look up from the papers on his desk, didn't need to. The disappointment was thick enough to taste. I knelt for them. For a woman who trapped you. She didn't trap me. I abandoned her. Now his father looked up, eyes like winter. You did what was necessary. I did what you told me to. And now you want to undo it? Bring her into this world? Bring children into this life? He met his father's gaze without flinching. They're already in it. They're my sons. Convenient. 7 years after the accident that should have made you sterile, a woman appears with twins. And you believe her? DNA doesn't lie. DNA can be fabricated. I had 3 separate labs confirm it. His father stood slowly, walked to the window, looked out at the empire they'd built together. You think love makes you strong? It doesn't. It makes you weak, predictable, vulnerable. Then I'll be vulnerable. They'll use her against you. Use the children. Every enemy we have will see them as targets. Then I'll protect them. How? By bringing them here? Into this house built on blood? You think she'll forgive you when she sees what you really are? The words hit harder than fists, because his father was right. Su-min had only seen glimpses of his world, the edges, the shadows. She didn't know about the bodies, the territories, the wars fought in silence. She didn't know that men died when he gave a nod, that entire families disappeared when they crossed him. "I'm not asking for permission," he said quietly. His father turned. Something dangerous flickered in his eyes. "Then you're choosing them over us. I'm choosing them with us. That's not how this works. Then we change how it works." His father laughed. Cold, bitter. "You sound like your mother, before this world killed her softness." The mention of his mother made him pause. She had died when he was 12, cancer, officially. But he always wondered if it was the weight of this life that truly killed her, the constant fear, the loneliness, the knowledge that love was always second to power. "I won't let that happen to them," he said. "You won't be able to stop it." He left without another word. Jay was waiting outside, saw his face. "That bad?" "Worse." "What's the plan?" He looked at his oldest friend, his brother in everything but blood. "I need a safe house. Somewhere off the grid. No family access." "You're really doing this?" "I'm really doing this." Jay nodded slowly. "Your father won't forgive this." "I know. He might come after her. Then we make sure she's untouchable." "And the boys?" "They get a childhood, a real one, away from all of this." "Until when?" That was the question, wasn't it? Until they were old enough to choose, or until this world swallowed them anyway. He didn't have an answer. He went back to her apartment that night. She opened the door, saw something in his expression. "What happened?" "My father knows." Her face went pale. "And?" "And we need to leave, tonight." "Leave?" "Leave where?" "Somewhere safe. There's no such thing as safe in your world." "Then we make one." She shook her head, stepped back. No, I'm not running. I've built a life here. The boys have a target on their backs now." The words stopped her cold. He saw it then. The moment reality crashed into hope. "You told your family about them." "I had to. And now we're in danger. I won't let anything happen to you." "You can't promise that." "I can, and I will." She looked at him, really looked, at the man who had broken her heart 3 years ago, the man who was promising to protect her now. "Why should I trust you?" "Because I have everything to lose if you don't." She packed in silence. The boys woke up, confused, scared. One of them, Min Ho, she called him, stared at him with wide dark eyes. "Who are you?" The question gutted him. He knelt down, met his son's gaze. "I'm a friend. I'm going to keep you safe." "Are you a superhero?" Su-min made a sound. Half laugh, half sob. He smiled, sad, broken. "No, but I'm trying to be." The other boy, Junwoo, grabbed his mother's leg, hid behind her, quieter, more cautious. Like him. God, they were both like him. They left at 2 a.m., 3 SUVs, his most trusted men, Jay in the lead vehicle. Su-min sat in the back with the boys, silent, watching the city disappear. He sat beside her, close enough to feel her warmth, far enough to respect her space. "Where are we going?" she finally asked. "A place I bought years ago, after the accident, when I thought I'd never have a reason to use it." "What kind of place?" "A house by the sea, far from Seoul, far from my family, far from everything." She looked at him. "You're really walking away from them." "I'm walking toward you." Her eyes filled with tears, but she didn't let them fall. "This won't end well." "Maybe not, but it'll end with us together." "You don't know that." "No, but I'm willing to bet everything on it." They arrived at dawn. The house was perched on a cliff, overlooking endless water, white walls, large windows, space, light, everything his father's empire wasn't. The boys ran inside, exhausted but curious. Su-min stood at the edge of the property, staring at the horizon. He came up beside her. "It's beautiful," she whispered. "It's ours." She turned. Don't make promises you can't keep." "I'm not promising perfection. I'm promising I'll fight for this, For you. For them. Your family. My family will have to accept it, or I walk away from everything. You'd really do that? Give up your empire? He looked at her, at the woman who had loved him when he was no one, who had carried his sons through hell, who still stood here despite everything. I already lost you once. I won't do it again. And for the first time in 3 years, she let herself believe him. The first week was a strange kind of peace. He learned their routines, their favorite foods, their fears. Minho loved drawing. Messy, chaotic pictures of dragons and spaceships. Junwoo loved books, would sit for hours flipping pages, even though he couldn't read yet. Both loved their mother with a fierceness that humbled him, and both were terrified of him. They don't know you, Sumin said one evening. They were on the deck, boys asleep inside, stars overhead. I know. You can't just buy their love. I'm not trying to. Then what are you trying to do? Be here, that's all I know how to do right now. She looked at him, softness creeping into her expression. They ask about you. What do they ask? If you're staying, if you're their dad, if you'll leave like before. Each question was a knife. What do you tell them? That I don't know. Fair, honest, more than he deserved. Jay called on the 8th day. Your father wants a meeting. Tell him no. He's insisting. I don't care. He's threatening to cut you off, assets, accounts, everything. Let him. A pause. Young, are you sure about this? Was he? He looked through the window, saw Su-min reading to the boys, their small faces rapt, safe, happy. Yeah, I'm sure. He won't stop there. I know. He'll come after her. Then we'll be ready. But they weren't ready. Not for what came next. It started with flowers, a delivery, expensive, beautiful. Su-min opened the card. Her face went white. What does it say? He asked. She handed it to him, hands shaking. Beautiful children. It would be a shame if something happened to them. No signature. Didn't need one. He called his father immediately. This ends now. Does it? His father's voice was calm, cold. Or does it end when you come back? I'm not coming back. Then you're choosing war. If that's what it takes. You think you can protect them? You're one man. I have an army. Then send your army, but know this. If anything happens to them, I will burn everything you've built to the ground. Silence. Then, you would destroy your own family? You made me choose. I chose. His father hung up. Su-min was packing when he found her. What are you doing? Leaving. This was a mistake. I knew it was a mistake. We're not leaving. He threatened my children. And I will handle it. How? By becoming the monster I always feared you were? The words stopped him cold. She was crying now. Full, broken sobs. I thought you were different. I thought you could be both. But you can't, can you? You can't be a father and a crime lord. I can try. Trying isn't enough, not when their lives are at stake. She was right. God, she was right. He knelt in front of her, took her hands. Then I'll stop. Stop what? All of it. The family business. The empire. Everything. She stared at him. You can't. Watch me. They'll kill you for that. Maybe. But at least I'll die knowing I tried to be the man you deserved. I never asked you to give up everything. I know. But I'm offering anyway. She searched his face, looking for the lie, the angle. But there was none. Just a broken man trying to be whole. She kissed him then, desperate, angry, forgiving. All at once. When they pulled apart, she whispered, If we do this, we do it together. No more secrets, no more running. Together. And if they come, then we fight. He called a meeting with the family council, his father, his uncles, the heads of every faction. They gathered in the main house, the place he hadn't set foot in for 2 weeks. It felt smaller now, darker. Or maybe he had just outgrown it. The walls that once represented power now felt like a prison. Every portrait of ancestors staring down with judgment, every piece of furniture soaked in blood money, every corner whispering of decisions made in darkness. This was the empire he was born into, the legacy he was supposed to carry. But legacies are only worth carrying if they don't crush the carrier. And this one had been crushing him for 32 years. The chandelier overhead cast shadows that moved like ghosts. The long table where strategies had been planned, where territories had been divided, where death sentences had been casually pronounced over expensive whiskey, now felt like an altar to everything he was walking away from. His footsteps echoed too loud in the silence. Every eye tracked his movement, calculating, wondering, waiting to see if he would break. "You wanted to talk," his father said. Talk. He stood at the head of the table, where his father usually sat. The disrespect wasn't lost on anyone. Whispers rippled through the room like wind through dead leaves. His uncles exchanged glances. Jay stood in the corner, hand near his weapon, ready for anything. Because in this world, family meetings could turn into massacres in seconds. But he wasn't afraid anymore. Fear required having something to lose. And he'd already decided what he was willing to sacrifice. Everything. All of it. The money. The power. The name that opened doors and closed mouths. The respect that came from violence. The empire built on bones and broken promises. He would burn it all down if it meant protecting the 3 people who mattered more than kingdoms. I'm out. Silence. Complete. Suffocating. The kind of silence that precedes explosions. Then chaos. Voices erupted. Threats. Accusations. Shock. His youngest uncle slammed his fist on the table, making glasses jump. "You can't just walk away. You're the heir. The next in line." Another uncle stood, face red with rage. "This is about that woman, isn't it? The nurse? You'd throw away everything for—" "Sit down," his father said quietly. But everyone heard. Everyone obeyed. His father raised a hand. Silence fell like a guillotine. "You're out." It wasn't a question. It was acknowledgement. Yes. And the territories? Divide them. Give them to Jay. I don't care. The businesses, the alliances, the debts owed to us? Handle them however you want. I'm done. His father's jaw tightened. And your sons? The question hung in the air like a death sentence. Are mine, not yours, not the family's, mine. His father leaned back in his chair, studying him like an opponent across a chessboard. You understand what this means. Once you walk away, you don't come back. There's no changing your mind, no asking for help when things get difficult. The door closes. It locks. I understand. Your children will have no claim, no protection, no name. When enemies come, and they will come, you'll face them alone. They'll have my name. That's enough. Is it? He met his father's gaze without flinching. It has to be. His father stood slowly, like a king reluctant to abdicate. He walked around the table, each step measured, deliberate. He stopped in front of him. The room held its breath. For a moment, he thought his father might strike him. Instead, he did something worse. He hugged him, tight, brief, desperate. When they pulled apart, his father's eyes were wet. The great crime lord had tears in his eyes. You're more like your mother than I thought. The words cracked something inside him. His mother. The woman who'd loved his father despite everything, who'd tried to bring softness into a world of violence, who'd died too young, worn down by the weight of loving a man who belonged to darkness. She wanted me to let you go, his father continued, voice barely above a whisper. After the accident, after the doctors said you couldn't have children, she said it was a sign, a chance for you to leave, to be free. I told her you were my heir, my responsibility. She said I was selfish, that I was keeping you prisoner. His father's hand gripped his shoulder. She was right. I was selfish. I kept you here because I couldn't imagine this world without you in it. Because I loved you. Because I'm a bastard who doesn't know how to love anything without owning it. Father, go. Before I change my mind. Before I remember I'm supposed to be a king who doesn't let anyone walk away. Before I forget that your mother made me promise, on her deathbed, that I would let you choose. His father stepped back, composing himself. The vulnerability disappeared behind the mask. But understand this. Once you leave, the protection ends. I can give you time. 1 year where my name still covers you. But after that, you're on your own. I know. And if they come after your woman, your children, then I'll protect them myself. His father almost smiled. With what? You're giving up your men, your resources, your power. I'll find a way. Love doesn't stop bullets. No. But it gives you a reason to dodge them. His father shook his head, something like pride flickering in his expression. You really are her son. She used to say the same things, used to tell me that I was brave in all the wrong ways, that real courage was being gentle in a harsh world. He turned to the council. It's done. He's out. Anyone who touches him or his family answers to me. That protection lasts 1 year. After that, he's on his own. One of his uncles started to protest. His father's glare silenced him. 1 year. That's my gift. My farewell. Use it wisely. He looked at his son one last time. Your mother would be proud. I'm trying to be. Then he sat down, signaling the meeting was over. He walked out of that house and never looked back. Jay followed him to the car. You really did it. I really did. What now? Now I learn how to be a father. And if they come after you anyway, then we deal with it. But I won't live in fear anymore. I won't teach my sons that power is worth more than love. Jay nodded. I'll keep an eye on things. Make sure the transition is smooth. Thank you. Don't thank me. Just be happy. That's all your mother would have wanted. They embraced. Then he got in his car and drove away from the only life he'd ever known. The drive back to the house by the sea took 3 hours. 3 hours of silence. 3 hours of processing. 3 hours of wondering if he'd made the right choice. The doubts crept in like fog. What if he couldn't protect them? What if he wasn't enough without his power? What if Sumin realized she'd bet on the wrong man? What if his sons grew up resenting him for the life he couldn't give them? But then he remembered Junwoo's small hand in his, Minho's laugh, Sumin's smile, and the doubts quieted, not gone, but manageable. Because some things are worth the risk. Some things are worth the fear. Some things are worth burning down empires for. He arrived at sunset. The house glowed golden in the fading light. Sumin was waiting on the porch, arms wrapped around herself, worry etched into every line of her body. She saw him. Their eyes met. She knew. Well, I'm done. It's over. She exhaled like she'd been holding her breath for 3 years. Relief, terror, hope, all at once. Now what? Now we build something new. The boys ran out. Junwoo crashed into his legs. Minho grabbed his hand. Are you staying? Junwoo asked, those dark eyes searching for truth. He knelt down, pulled them both close, breathed in the scent of their shampoo, felt their small hearts beating against his chest. Yeah, I'm staying. Forever? Forever. Minho grinned. Good, because Mom makes really good pancakes and you should try them. She puts chocolate chips in them and they're the best in the whole world. He laughed, actually laughed, deep and real and free. Sumin smiled through her tears. Come on, let's go inside. Dinner's ready. That night, after the boys were bathed and read to and tucked in, after Minho asked for one more story and Junwoo insisted on checking under the bed for monsters, after they finally fell asleep, he and Sumin sat on the deck under a sky full of stars. The ocean whispered against the shore. The world felt impossibly vast and impossibly small all at once. Do you regret it? She asked quietly. Leaving? All of it. The power, the money, the empire. He thought about it. Really thought about it. About the territories he'd controlled. The fear he'd commanded. The respect that came from violence. The legacy he was supposed to carry. Then he looked at her. At the house. At the life they were building. No, not even a little. It won't be easy. Nothing worth having ever is. She leaned into him. He wrapped his arm around her. I never stopped loving you, she whispered. Even when I hated you. Even when I was alone and pregnant and terrified. I never stopped. I never stopped either. I just forgot how. Forgot what it felt like to put someone else first. To want something more than power. And now? Now I remember. Now I wake up and the first thing I think about isn't territory or threats. It's you. It's them. It's this. He gestured at the house, the ocean, the stars. It's the way Minho draws dragons with 17 legs because he says normal dragons are boring. It's the way Junwoo falls asleep holding books like they're teddy bears. It's the way you hum while you cook. It's all of this. This beautiful, mundane, perfect life. She turned to face him, cupping his face in her hands. I'm scared. Me too. What if it's not enough? What if you miss it? I won't. You can't know that. You're right, I can't. But I can choose it. Every single day, I can choose this. Choose you. Choose them. And that's what I'm going to do. She kissed him then, soft, tender, forgiving, like sealing a promise. When they pulled apart, she rested her forehead against his. Okay, we'll figure it out. Together. Together. They rebuilt, slowly, carefully, like learning to walk after years of running. He found work, legitimate work, security consulting for corporations who needed someone who understood risk, who knew how criminals thought, who could anticipate threats before they materialized. It paid well. Not empire money, but enough. More than enough. She went back to nursing, part-time, on her terms, at a small clinic that served the community. She came home with stories of patients she'd helped, lives she'd touched, purpose that had nothing to do with survival. The boys started preschool, made friends, normal friends, kids who didn't know anything about crime families or territories or violence. They learned to share, to color inside the lines, to sing songs about wheels on buses. They came home with paintings and sticky kisses. They grew, they laughed, they felt safe. He learned what normal fathers did. Bedtime stories, scraped knees, parent-teacher conferences, birthday parties with too much cake and too many balloons. He learned to be patient when Minho had tantrums, to be gentle when Junwoo had nightmares, to be present in ways he'd never been taught. Some days were hard. Some days the old instincts kicked in, the need for control, the urge to solve problems with power, the phantom weight of the gun he no longer carried. But Soo-min was there, grounding him, reminding him who he chose to be. And slowly, the man he was became the man he wanted to be. Not perfect, not transformed overnight, but better, trying, growing. 6 months later, his father visited, unannounced. He found them on the beach, boys building sandcastles, Soo-min collecting shells, him helping Junwoo dig a moat. His father stood at a distance, watching. He saw him immediately. Old instincts. But he didn't react, didn't reach for weapons he didn't have. He just acknowledged, nodded, kept digging. Finally, he walked over. Why are you here? To see if it was worth it. And? His father looked at the boys, at Soo-min, at his son, really looked, saw the peace in his expression, the lightness in his movements, the way he smiled without calculation. She's stronger than I thought, raising those boys alone, working night shifts, never asking for help. She's got steel in her spine. She always did. I was just too blind to see it. And the boys? Are happy. They don't know about the family, about what I was. And they won't. Not until they're old enough to understand. His father nodded slowly. Your mother would be proud. She always said the strongest thing a man could do was choose love over power. I never understood what she meant. I thought she was being naive. I was wrong. She was the strongest person I ever knew, and you're like her. More than you're like me. I hope so. His father's expression softened. I came to tell you something. The protection period. The 1 year. I'm extending it. Indefinitely. Why? Because you're my son. Because your mother would haunt me if I didn't. Because I want you to have what I never could. A choice. A chance. A life outside the darkness. It was the closest thing to an apology he'd ever get. Thank you. His father turned to leave, stopped. The boys, when they're older, if they ask about their grandfather. Tell them I loved them, even from a distance, even without knowing them. Tell them that. I will. And he left, back to the empire, back to the darkness, back to the life his son had escaped. Soo-min came up beside him. What did he want? To make peace, in his own way. And did he? Yeah, I think he did. She slipped her hand into his. Good. Everyone deserves peace. Even crime lords. Even reformed crime lords. Especially those. The boys ran up, covered in sand and joy. Dad, Dad, come see our castle. It has 3 towers and a dragon cave. He let them pull him back to their creation, to their world, to the life he'd chosen. That night, Minho asked a question. Dad, were you a bad guy? He looked at Sumin. She nodded. Tell them the truth. Yeah, I was. Like a villain? Something like that. But you're not anymore? I'm trying not to be. Is it hard? Sometimes. Some days I remember who I used to be, and I have to work really hard to be who I want to be instead. But your mom makes it easier. You both make it easier. Junwoo climbed into his lap. We love you anyway, even if you were a bad guy, because you're a good dad. And just like that, the king who walked away from an empire found the only kingdom that mattered. Years passed. The boys grew, started elementary school, made friends, played soccer, discovered dinosaurs and superheroes in video games. They never asked about the family again. Never wondered why they didn't have grandparents on his side. Never questioned the bodyguards who appeared sometimes in the distance. Subtle protection, courtesy of a father trying to make amends. He built a career, a reputation, not as a crime lord. As a man who understood security, who'd seen the worst of humanity and learned how to protect against it. Companies hired him, trusted him, respected him for what he did now, not what he'd been. She thrived at the clinic, became head nurse, mentored younger nurses, made a difference in ways that mattered. They bought a bigger house. Nothing extravagant, just space, room for the boys to grow, a garden for Sumin, an office for him, a home. They had family dinners, took vacations, went to school plays and soccer games, all the mundane, beautiful moments that make a life. They fought sometimes, about money, about parenting, about whose turn it was to do laundry. Normal fights. Not about territories or danger, just life. Messy, complicated, wonderful life. On their 10th anniversary of reuniting, they renewed their vows. Small ceremony. Just them and the boys and Jay and a few close friends. Nothing like a mob wedding. No politics, no alliances, just love. The boys were 12 now. Minho tall and artistic. Junwoo quiet and brilliant. Both happy, both whole. As they exchanged vows on the beach where they'd rebuilt everything, he looked at Sumin and saw the girl who'd loved him when he was nobody. The woman who'd survived without him. The mother who'd protected their sons. The person who'd given him a reason to be better. I was broken when you found me, he said, tears streaming down his face. I thought the accident had taken everything, my future, my legacy, my purpose, but it gave me something instead. It gave me you, it gave me them. It gave me a reason to walk away from everything I thought defined me. And I would do it again. 1,000 times. I choose you. I choose this. I choose love over power, family over empire, life over legacy. She was crying too. You gave me something too. You gave me a partner, a father for our sons, a man who proved that people can change, that love can win, that even the darkest pasts can lead to bright futures. I love you, all of you, who you were, who you are, who you're becoming. The boys cheered. Jay wiped his eyes. The sun set over the ocean. And the man who'd once ruled an empire through fear learned that the greatest power of all is the power to choose love. Years later, they would tell stories about the man who chose love over power, the woman who never stopped believing, the boys who taught him what family really meant, about how sometimes the bravest thing a man can do is walk away from everything he built to become everything he was meant to be, about how empires fall but families endure, about how the truest measure of strength isn't what you can take, but what you can give up, about how some legacies are written in blood, but the best ones are written in love. And when Minho and Junwoo grew up and had children of their own, they would tell them about their grandfather, who gave everything up for them before he even knew them. About the love that was worth more than kingdoms. About the choice that changed everything. Because that's what heroes do, not the ones in movies or books, the real ones. The fathers who show up, the mothers who endure, the families who choose each other every single day. Those are the stories worth telling. Those are the legacies worth leaving. And in a small house by the sea, where waves whisper and children laugh and love wins, that story continues. Generation after generation, choice after choice, forever. The end. Tentar novamente. Claude pode cometer erros. Confira sempre as respostas.